If you live in Japan, like me, or want to invest here, it doesn't seem that there are many options to grow your money, especially when your bank is only giving you between 0.09% to 0.2% interest a year, and when the inflation was 4% last February. Your money is not going to go very far. So that's why I compiled a list of options that I wish I had when I arrived here 26 years ago. Because there are many ways to invest your money in Japan, whether it's towards your retirement or for a big project like buying a house, even if you're a foreigner. So here's my top 5 to pick and choose from depending on your own situation. And number 3 is gonna surprise you, I'm sure. So let's get started as soon as you click the like button for the YouTube algorithm. It's gonna help us a lot and also help spread this video to more people. Thank you. Let's start with number 1, which is investing on the stock market. The market returned 4.6% since the early 1980s, though it did way better in 2023 at 28% and 19% in 2024, even reaching its peak on February 22nd, 2024 at 39,000 points. And even though it slowed down a bit since the past 12 months and the beginning of the year, it's still a good way to invest the money. And thanks to many changes in regulation, taxes are less of an issue if you're using the right type of brokerage account, and I'll tell you about it more in a minute. Except if you're a US citizen or green card holder, but that's a different story. What should you invest in? No one wants to go pick individual stocks and follow them and analyze them. No one has the time or the qualifications, or at least very few people. The best products to focus on for most of us are broad-based index funds. They are a type of mutual fund or ETF with a portfolio constructed to match or track the components of a financial market index. There are 7 main indexes focusing on the Tokyo stock market with many sub-indexes, but the main ones are the FTSE Japan Index, the Nikkei 400, the MSCI Japan Index, the MSCI IMI Index, the Nikkei 225, and Solactive GBS Japan Large and Mid Cap Index, and finally, the topics. And why should you go with the index fund? It's not me saying it, it is Warren Buffett. He knows what he's talking about. So I think we'd better follow. If you have US dollars to invest on the Japanese stock market, here's a list of mutual funds you could consider, depending on your preferences. And there's also a list now for ETFs. If you have Japanese yens, there are many more choices. According to the Tokyo Stock Exchange, there are 342 ETFs and over 6,000 mutual funds to choose from. Fortunately, we're focusing on index funds, which shorten the list a lot. To make things even simpler, here's a list of ETFs in Japanese yen, also based on indexes, and also one for mutual funds. I personally invest a lot of my money on those specific mutual funds. You can stop the video here and take notes, or if you want to dig a bit deeper, I'm linking down below a recent video on mutual funds and another one on ETFs, which was released actually last month. Go check them out, but only after you finish this video. Thank you. Which brokerage account should you use to invest? That's a great question. If you're thinking of retiring in Japan, then go for the DC plan or Kakute Kushitsu Nenkin if it is offered by your employer, or an iDeCo if you have to do it by yourself. They are the local equivalent of the 401k. Your contributions are tax deductible and you can contribute depending on your work and personal situation. And the money you withdraw upon retirement is almost completely tax-free. If you do not plan to retire here or have more money to put aside after you contributed to your DC or iDeCo, then you can open what's called the NISA account or Nippon Investment Savings Account. That's except if you are a US citizen or green card holder, because that becomes much more difficult. You can now contribute up to 3.6 million yen a year, which is about $24,000, for a total lifetime contribution of 18 million yen, which is $120,000. And you can keep it open without any time limit. All your capital gains and dividends are tax-free. This is your go-to investment account to avoid paying the 20% tax on capital gains and dividend. If you want to know more about the NISA, you can check the 2024 edition of the Retired Japan Guide to NISA. I will leave a link down below. And we made a video some time ago about 5 different types of portfolio you can build in Japan with mutual funds. So don't hesitate to check it out at the end. It's no secret that the yen hasn't been a hot currency for a long time. And since the rate increases in the US, Europe and Australia, it has lost a lot of its value and continues to do so. It's mainly due to the interest rate difference, with the BOJ maintaining its interest rate at 0.5%. and of course other economical factors and political factors. And that explains why the yen-denominated savings accounts offer so little return, as I mentioned earlier, between 0.09% to 0.2%. Fortunately, most banks offer high interest rate on foreign currency deposits. So if you have US dollars, euros, Australian dollars, or British pounds, you could get a decent return on your cash. Of course, you can set up your own company in Japan if you have a good idea and the energy for it. And actually, many have been quite successful. For example, the Taito Corporation. You know it for video games nowadays, but it used to be an importer of vodka and jukebox back in the 1950s when it was founded by a Ukrainian immigrant. Closer to us, you have the Tokyo Portfolio, which is a real estate company. You have the Brace Cafe, which does a lot of food from France, Brittany, and started here in Japan, went back all the way to France. You also have technology companies like Monetary or services company like Zeihi Tomo. Or you even have very small companies like mine, focusing on real estate. You can do it under many different formats, such as an individual entrepreneur, it's called a Jigyonushi, a limited liability company like a Godo Gaisha, it's also a partnership, or a corporation like a Kabushiki Gaisha. There are many ways to do it. And we'll have a video about it sometime soon. If you're interested about it, let me know in the comment down below. But what about buying an existing company? How is that possible? Actually, you have to know that there's a real crisis for small and medium companies in Japan, where traditionally they would hand it over to their children, right? But less and less of them are interested. So the owners literally are facing an era of mass closure, as it was pointed by the Japan Times Barons or the AFP reporting. A 2019 government report estimated that about 1.2 million small businesses owners would be 70 or older by 2025, which is this year, and have no successors. The trend could kill up to 6.5 million jobs and reduce the size of the Japanese economy by 22 trillion yen, $166 billion. So there is a massive potential. And there are companies like Baton Zida can do the matchmaking, and now funds from the US like TeamShares that are coming to expand in Japan because of the opportunity. Looking into this matter, I found out that the national and local government are also offering many subsidies to help develop businesses and change them and modernize them, even when you're buying them out from the previous owners. And that can go a long way supplementing your own investment, the bank loans, or any other type of financing. So if you have the skills, the will, and are ready to take the plunge, do not hesitate. There are gems everywhere. If you have been following this channel for some time, you know that real estate is the way that I have chosen to build my own retirement, by renting out apartments and single family homes. And I'm actually working on a project right now that hopefully I will be able to talk to you about later this year. And although it sounds complicated at first, once you know what you're doing, it becomes a bit easier. And actually, prices of apartments have doubled since 2010. And coming back to rentals, actually last October, many areas of Japan recording the highest rents on record for single rooms. And with the new fiscal year approaching on April 1st, prices continue going up. A 1 LDK used to be 68,000 yen a month, and now it goes for 74,000, which is about $493. A 2 LDK, about 50 square meters, used to be 135, now it's 147, about $983, and a 3 LDK used to be 134 and now it's 144 and $960. It doesn't sound like much, but on an annual basis, that's an extra $800 that you have to fork out. And if we look at family focused apartment, 50 to 70 square meters, the price went up a lot in the past 10 years, reaching 234,000 yen a month in January of this year, which is about $1,560. This is pushing more and more people outside of city centers, so the prices are growing outside of the usual area and more towards the suburbs. And the rise in interest rate also pricing out many families, and they can't purchase anything. So this is fueling demand for rental in the long and short term. I've been doing it for some time, as I explained in this video. So here are a few tips to get you started and avoid some of the mistakes I made along the way. The first one is understanding the market in which you want to invest. That is key. What kind of properties are in demand? Which areas people are looking into? Where are the train stations? Where are the supermarkets, the schools, and all the everyday convenience? Traditionally, a lot of deals come on the market in March, April, which is right now, but also just after winter. But you can find some gems outside of those periods. You just have to look a bit harder. Banks will be willing to lend you money if you present your case properly, have enough down payment, which is at least 20%, but sometimes 30%, and you can show you have a stable job and the proper visa, which is permanent visa or maybe a spouse visa. Another option is to buy through a company like I'm doing, but you're still gonna be looked at, so you need probably those visa and this regular job. But be ready to make the rounds because you will get a lot of refusals from the banks. Besides that, you will need a team to help you. So you need a foreigner-friendly real estate agent, or called a fudo-san, because they are key to opening door, even with the banks. And you also need a public scrivener, or shiho-shoshi, to draft the contract and register your company and your property deed. And don't forget a property manager, a kanrigaisha, because this can be a very tedious project. And it's a complete different job altogether. You don't want to get sucked into that. So in summary, do your math and get started, because real estate is a lot of fun and a very good way to get a good income stream and increase your wealth. Or at least, that's what I think. You might be surprised that I'm mentioning cryptocurrencies in this list. I am not clickbaiting. Just hear me out. It's true, it does not work as a portfolio diversifier, as it appears highly correlated to equities and bonds, according to some research by JP Morgan Asset Management. However, if you have a good risk tolerance, another research shows that inclusion of Bitcoin and ETH within a traditional portfolio framework can significantly enhance risk-adjusted returns even with a conservative allocation. And a maximum allocation of 6%, but more reasonably 5% of your overall investment portfolio is what is recommended. With that in mind, Japan is one of the best places to buy crypto. Because of a few high-profile scandals, the industry is highly regulated. Deposits are kept in cold wallet, and there are insurance against losing some of your holdings. All crypto exchanges located in Japan need to be registered with the government and are overseen by it. But that's not all. There are two industry bodies that help self-regulate, and it works. I even recovered my FTX holdings when everything went belly up. The taxes are still higher than other investments, which other investments are usually at 20%. This one is considered a regular income, so it can go up to 55%. Though, the FSA is working about changing this. So all things considered, if you are going to invest money in crypto, I think this is the best place to do it. And if you want a more detailed explanation on the step you can take, please check this video here or there that I'm linking also down below. We've got you covered. Don't risk your hard-earned money by YOLOing everything on the latest altcoin. Be careful and don't take any financial advice from me. I'm just a guy on YouTube, so talk to a professional and do your own research before investing your own money. Even though it looks difficult at first, there are many ways to invest and grow your money in Japan to support your financial project or your retirement goals, regardless of your nationality. It really depends on how much time you can spend on it and your risk appetite. Please let me know in the comments down below if that was useful, and do not hesitate to share your own investment project so that everybody can benefit from it. If you enjoyed this video and the early spring weather in Tokyo, please consider giving it a like and subscribe if you haven't done it already. And if you're interested in learning more about personal finance or Japan, please check these videos. Thank you again for watching, and until next time, goodbye.